Have you ever wondered what happens to all the uneaten food on a cruise ship? Well, you're not alone. Cruises go through mountains of food to cater to thousands of guests every week. But what happens when some of that food doesn't get eaten? Does it just go to waste? The truth might shock you. Cruise ships are floating cities, offering everything from lavish buffets to fine dining experiences. Each ship caters to hundreds, sometimes thousands of guests every day, meaning tons of food are prepared to meet the demands of every passenger. But, as you might expect, not all of it gets eaten. Whether it's leftover buffet spreads, unfinished meals, or just uneaten snacks, once the food hits the buffet or restaurant, it can't be sent back to the kitchen. So, what happens to it? Food waste isn't just a cruise ship problem. It's an issue at almost every restaurant, bakery, supermarket, and amusement park. However, unlike many industries, the cruise sector, particularly Royal Caribbean, has taken serious steps to ensure its waste is minimized. Their efforts go beyond just tossing leftovers overboard, and the results are surprising. In the last few years, Royal Caribbean has launched a bold initiative to curb food waste across all their ships. They've committed to reducing food waste by 50% by 2025, and they're already well on their way. By 2024, they had already cut their waste by 35%, saving millions of dollars and reducing their environmental footprint significantly. But how does Royal Caribbean manage to cut down on so much waste? The cruise giant has implemented a series of innovative strategies, many of which you may find hard to believe. Smart food tracking. The first step in reducing food waste is knowing how much food is actually needed. Royal Caribbean's ships use a proprietary system that tracks food supplies and estimates how much food should be prepared on a given day. This ensures that only the necessary amount is made, avoiding overproduction. By entering details such as passenger demographics, sailing destinations, and even the weather, the system can predict exactly what types of food will be in demand and adjust accordingly. Artificial intelligence on board. To make sure no food goes to waste during the cruise, Royal Caribbean has integrated artificial intelligence to adjust food production in real time. This high-tech solution helps to determine how much food should be prepared based on guest preferences, weather conditions, and even cruise activities. For example, if there's a sunny day ahead, there might be a higher demand for salads or grill items. On a rainy day, the kitchen might prepare more warm, comfort foods. Real-time feedback for better planning. Royal Caribbean has also introduced a system for tracking food consumption. If certain dishes at the buffet or in the restaurants aren't being eaten, that data is collected and used to adjust future food prep. It's a win-win, less waste, and happier guests. The chefs can now better predict the demand for different types of cuisines by using data collected from previous cruises, ensuring that there is just enough food prepared for the number of guests on board. Interactive food stations. The buffet on Royal Caribbean ships has seen a major transformation. While traditional buffet trays are still around, they're now complemented by smaller, freshly prepared dishes. These cook-to-order stations, such as grilling stations or carving stations, ensure that food is served in smaller portions, reducing the chance of leftovers. Guests get freshly prepared meals, and any unused food is minimized. Waste awareness among crew. Royal Caribbean has implemented a dedicated food waste management role on all ships. This role is responsible for monitoring food waste, ensuring that every staff member understands the importance of reducing food waste. There are daily reports on food waste, and specific crew members are trained on how to handle leftovers properly, which ultimately results in less waste being generated. Even with all these efforts, some food will inevitably go to waste. So, what happens to that leftover food? The surprising solution: waste to energy. Here's the shocking part. Royal Caribbean has found a way to turn food waste into energy. On ships like the Icon of the Seas, the waste doesn't just sit around. After it's processed, it gets converted into pellets, which are then used to power the ship's facilities, including water parks and other entertainment venues. This groundbreaking initiative reduces the ship's carbon footprint while providing a sustainable energy source, all thanks to food waste. Zero landfill ships. Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas and other ships in their fleet have earned a prestigious title: Zero Landfill Ships. What does that mean exactly? It means that these ships have implemented an innovative waste management system that ensures nearly all waste on board is either recycled, repurposed, or converted into energy. Instead of sending their waste to landfills, these ships have fully operational recycling centers and waste diversion programs in place. Separate containers on board allow for precise sorting of materials, including plastic, glass, metal, and paper. Crew members are trained to ensure that everything from used bottles to food packaging is properly handled and separated to be recycled or repurposed, diverting tons of waste from ending up in landfills. But the real innovation here is how Royal Caribbean has transformed waste into a resource. When it comes to food scraps, they're not just tossed aside. Food waste is sent through a specialized system called the hydroprocessor. This machine reduces the food waste volume and creates a more compact form of waste that can be safely incinerated without harmful emissions. The energy produced from this incineration is then harnessed to power various onboard systems. It's an ingenious way of turning what would normally be trash into a valuable resource, helping to reduce the environmental footprint of the ship. What's even more impressive is that this system is not a one-off. It's a crucial part of Royal Caribbean's broader sustainability goals. The cruise line is committed to making all of their ships as eco-friendly as possible, with zero landfill ships leading the charge. By using advanced technologies, meticulous waste sorting, and even repurposing waste into energy, these ships not only minimize their environmental impact, but also set a new standard for what's possible in the cruise industry. It's a fascinating example of how innovation can turn everyday waste into something useful, pushing the cruise industry toward a more sustainable future. Reducing the environmental impact of leftovers. Despite the cruise industry's best efforts to minimize food waste, it's inevitable that some leftovers will remain. But what happens to them on a Royal Caribbean ship? Instead of allowing that leftover food to go straight to the trash, the cruise line has implemented a highly efficient and eco-conscious system that reduces its environmental impact significantly. First, the leftover food is processed through food pulpers machines designed to break down food waste into a more manageable form. This process helps to minimize the volume of food scraps, making them easier to handle and ultimately less impactful on the environment. Once the food is pulped, it travels through a system of pipes that lead to a hydroprocessor. This device doesn't just reduce the size of the waste, it also dries and transforms it into a compact pellet form. These pellets can then be repurposed as a source of energy for the ship. This process is a part of Royal Caribbean's larger commitment to sustainability, ensuring that even food waste doesn't go to waste. By converting what would typically be disposed of into usable fuel, the cruise line reduces its overall reliance on traditional fuel sources, minimizing its carbon footprint. This innovative method of turning food waste into energy is just one example of how Royal Caribbean is tackling the environmental challenges of cruising. By recycling food waste in this way, the cruise line helps reduce not only the amount of waste they generate, but also their overall energy consumption. The result is a significant reduction in both waste and environmental impact, benefiting the planet while keeping operations running smoothly. And for passengers, it's a reassuring sign that their favorite vacation destination is committed to doing its part in protecting the environment, one meal at a time. In the end, the reality of food waste on cruise ships may not be as grim as it seems. By embracing technology, innovation, and a commitment to sustainability, Royal Caribbean is leading the charge in reducing food waste across its fleet. Although food waste still exists, the amount is far less than it was just a few years ago. Not only is this good for the planet, but it's also a huge win for the cruise line's financial health. The less food they waste, the more money they save while providing guests with a better, more sustainable cruising experience. So, next time you're on a cruise, you might think twice before leaving that last bite on your plate. Not only are you helping the environment, but you're also supporting a bigger, more sustainable mission. And the food you do leave behind, well, it might just be helping to power the ship you're sailing on. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more shocking behind-the-scenes truths about the cruise industry.